Hello and welcome to another episode of Olsem Wanem. I'm Florence John Duo. East New Britain's fight against homebrew and marijuana trade in the province is much alike as anywhere else in the country. Both rendered as two of the main causes of PNG's law and order issues. But those who are involved in this underground trade say the government should provide alternative means to support their lives if it's serious about addressing the country's law and order problems. In this story, MTV's Kokopo-based journalist Edwin Fidelis was given an exclusive access by a group of youths to film this underground trade and why they are involved in this business.
It was getting dark as I was taken by a group of youths to an old banana patch at a secluded location on the outskirts of Kokopo town. At the edge of the food garden, a half-filled gas bottle sits on the fire. Besides the fireplace, 8 containers of fermented ingredients are ready to be processed into distilled alcohol or steam. Once processed, a container like this can fetch up to 10 kina on the streets, and these 8 containers can produce about 50 bottles. That's 500 kina. It is a lucrative business in places where alcohol can't be afforded easily by people who use it as a recreational drink. The youths agreed to allow us to film this underground trade if only their identities were concealed. Some of the youths who refused to speak on camera say they have abandoned their cocoa blocks following the inception of the cocoa pot bora, and they have switched to producing distilled alcohol as an alternative means of earning an income. All this might not seem as a big problem, but when combined with marijuana, it is a serious problem. Police have reported instances of large quantities of marijuana that are grown and widely distributed in the province. These pictures only give a tiny glimpse into the widespread production and consumption of homebrew and marijuana in the country. While the laws have deemed it as a crime, those who produced it sees it as a lucrative business. Numerous attempts by police to break this underground trade link have achieved little results as people continue producing it for fast money. Much of the blame has been leveled against the rampant growth of illegal settlements on the fringes of the town and the high cost of living. Former East New Britain's police boss Anthony Wigambi Jr. on numerous occasions has labeled these newly established settlements as a hive of criminal activities.
In East New Britain, we have a lot of problems with in relation to drug cultivation of marijuana and the distribution and sale of that illicit drug. It is affecting most of our youth population here. Police are receiving information, and we have acted upon a couple of areas where people have been cultivating marijuana, and we will continue to raid, uproot, and arrest those who are cultivating these drugs. Because from that cultivation of those drugs, it comes down into the community, and our youth population take that in, and they cause problems for everyone else. So we are looking into that and clamping down on the cultivation, distribution, and sale of marijuana.
The new way of life and the new trend of crime fueled by marijuana and homebrew consumption has left many older people looking for answers on how to address these problems adequately. But it is a question that many of them don't have answers to.
You're watching Olsem Wanem. Homebrew and marijuana have fueled numerous law and order problems such as rape, murder, and petty crimes caused mainly by youths. It left many people questioning what we as a country is doing wrong. But it's a question that seems to have various answers to. Economic struggles and social disharmony are some answers to this question. But the much talked about government policies increasing job and education opportunities to improve the lives of people, especially youths, have achieved little results. The problems aligned with homebrew and marijuana keeps happening.
The production of these illegal substances is only the surface of a deep social and economical problem that continue to plague the country for more than 40 years. It is a strong representation of a breakdown in social order. Lack of job opportunities and education has spurred a drop in living standards for many Papua New Guineans. Lack of parent disciplines has left children to dwell and develop within a rogue environment dominated by law and order issues, and many have come to accept this as a normal way of life. Steam and marijuana are synonymous with settlements and petty crimes, and time and again it has made headlines for all the wrong reasons. While the stories of marijuana and homebrew have far been the most talked about issues, the root cause of it has not been much talked about by many. The end result of these problems is demonstrated at the New Guinea Islands region's biggest jail, Karavat. At the Karavat Prison Reception Office, Florian Bennett is working on the new admissions of inmates who come here every day. Most of them who come here face up to 2 years in jail for marijuana and homebrew charges. They make up more than half the total number of new admissions who arrive here every week.
Side long all most committed crime or offences lo here lo Karavat correctional institution in looking mosem many long or drug offences. Drug offences lo side long marijuana emi high. Alright, behind long emi come down and consumption of illicit spirit. Instead of 1 week, maybe take him 30 to 50 new blood admissions. Alright, inshallah 30 to 50 blood looking most by 20 to 30 and by all drug offenses. That's why we are looking at number of drug and we contact.
The jail term of up to 24 months may not be appealing to those who produce, traffic and use marijuana and homebrew, as the number of admissions here only shows the wide consumption of these items in the province.
Minimum and by around 6 months. Alright, maximum and court again giving me going up 2 years. Depend long quantity or amount long drug and volume.
The East Nubitan police have responded to numerous complaints and have made arrests, but it hasn't even scratched the surface of this growing problem. Numerous drug and homebrew busts by police in the province have indicated a well-established and dedicated underground market. Many who produced it say it is a thriving business in towns and settlements for those who don't have regular paid jobs. Police for the most part depend on information from the public before they can make any arrests. Many don't get to be reported and those involved in it are not arrested and charged. And like any other areas, ending in one of their own in the community to the police may not be an easy decision for the people to make.
Before we were looking at armed robbery in Islam before. But now, currently now, let me change. So we were looking at a shift long. It's like crime, number of crime on committing, type of crime on committing. And we come down now long and solve many or petty offences and we declare now. Awesome. Drug, mainly drug.
Welcome back. Let's now look at something different from East New Britain province apart from homebrew and marijuana. The East New Britain provincial government has established a land care program in an attempt to reduce risk of land shortage. It began the program after realizing that villages situated along gorges continue to see a greater portion of the land being washed off by flood every time it rains. Environment experts in the province believe that East New Britain will face a severe land shortage in the next 10 years if soil erosion is not treated as a matter of urgency.
We've come to Ramalmal Primary School on the outskirts of the volcanic town of Rabaul. A team of environment conservation specialists from the East New Britain Provincial Administration was visiting the school as part of its awareness campaign to save land from soil erosions. The team has selected the school due to its geographical location that is vulnerable to massive soil erosions.
I have the privilege to say thank you to this program that has come in through the Deputy Prime Minister's office. I'm glad that it has come in through us, and the students, I can see, are very excited about the program as well as the teachers. I think this program is going to be really beneficial to our school and to the environment or the villages that these students come from.
In recent years, concerns surrounding land loss due to soil erosion has prompted an immediate response from the East New Britain Environment Conservation Team, so it established a land care program to carry out awareness programs in schools and affected communities. It's an effort that Florence Vice-Parea thinks is the best way forward as a safety measure to educate men, women and children about the importance of land and soil conservation.
We have this land care program that we are implementing now, and we are targeting the schools, mostly targeting the schools and the wards, the communities. And for schools, it's very, very, very important because the education that we give, the educational awareness that we give is for them to learn. The students, they learn from what we teach them, and then that can build on to within their lives.
This is what it looks like when it rains in areas on the outskirts of Kokopo and Rabaul town. In recent years, communities all over East New Britain province have seen a change in their landscape similar to this one. Torrential rains washed off a greater portion of what used to be their customary land. An environment specialist like Florence Vice-Parea says to a greater extent it will affect development in the province in a long run.
We have this infrastructure, the road infrastructure that is being affected, and the bridges that are being blocked, and then the culverts are being blocked, and the soil overflows onto the road, which costs a lot of funding, a lot of government money to maintain these roads. And even certain schools, the certain institutions are also being affected, which are situated in these slopey areas that most of the soil being washed down, that affects the classrooms, which are at the verge of falling over.
This is one of many times that Florence and her co-workers visited schools and affected communities to do awareness about the dangers of land loss.
It is the velocity of the water, the fast flowing of the water that is now currently washing the soil, because the soil around here is sandy loam, and sandy loam is very fine, and it's not packed, it's not intact, which when water flows, it takes it away and it washes it down.
The older people know all too well that if they don't get their children to actively participate in this program, they too will lose more land to floods than to any other disaster.
Just imagine how it will affect the land pressure now, the land that is now, the little bit of land left for cash crops or gardening that will be also being used for residential houses. And also they are being taught of the benefits of it.
While the awareness of soil preservation may not appeal to the people here, the land care program aims to educate young people about the basic rule, not to destroy the environment and their future.
Welcome back to Olsem Wanem. The issue of soil erosion hasn't been a topic of discussion over the years in the East New Britain province until recently it has become a serious issue of discussion, and to a larger extent it's regarded as a disaster. The combinations of the migration of people, deforestation and climate change impacts have put the issue of soil erosion as a matter of concern. Environment experts say the chances of losing land to soil erosion is far greater than losing it to any other forms of disasters.
In light of climate change, its impacts are also becoming evident not only along the shorelines but inland as well, as population growth increases and resources are used up to cater to people's needs. The new waves of migration of people to unoccupied areas have raised serious concerns on the level of soil that are being washed away by flood every time it rains.
The current problem for land limitation, that is forcing the people to build houses on marginal areas where the arable land, where flat land and penis, it's being used up. So there is no other place that the population can move to. With the population pressure, they move into the steep slopes, which they dig up, and they dig up and they build their homes. And these homes, mostly now, they are built by roofing hinds, where roofing hind collects a lot of water, and that water is being washed down, and there is no catchment on that water that is being washed down. That is why the more of that water that is being washed out, collected, and the velocity, the faster it flows, that's the problem with the velocity that is now causing a lot of soil being washed down to the sea.
All this might seem like another ordinary school activity, but it is serious business for the students of Marmal Primary School. These school children have been told that if they don't take care of their land, they will lose it to the nature's onslaught, like heavy rains that causes flood.
The educational awareness that we give and the practicality of it in getting them to plant the trees and the grass is for them to learn. The students, they learn from what we teach them, and then that can build on to within their lives, and they grow up with it.
The concept is that if children, whilst being taught about the dangers of soil erosion, they are expected to go back and educate their parents and their grandparents.
For immediate response, they go back to their families, and during their meetings with their families, so they can tell their parents that that education awareness that they have taken in tree planting and the grass planting, which is to remedy the soil erosion issue that is currently affecting their lives.
Florence and her team introduced the vetiver grass to the affected areas as a short-term solution to reduce risks of erosion. It is a traditional way of preserving land, mainly used in Asia, Europe and Africa to preserve gardens planted along slopes, and also helps increase the yielding of crops. The vetiver grass has a mat-like root system that can reach a depth of 4 meters into the soil, making it an ideal plant to withstand soil erosion caused by heavy rains.
Erosion sudah bottom belum em? Yan, putih mau go down. Jadi ground ni go, em aku down. Sekarang mau masuk.
In recent years, soil erosion has left many older generations looking for answers to save their lands from being washed off easily. It has become a worry, and much of the blame has been leveled on climate change, population increase and the migration of people. But as these concerns becomes topic of discussions in all levels of government, including the affected areas, those who continue to feel the ever-increasing rate of soil erosion are the people, those who wanted a better way of life for themselves and their families.
Because whatever the children have learned through the awareness, and then through this practical part of it, when they have learned to plant the grass and the trees, they will be able to go back home and implement what they have learned through listening and then through the practical part of it. And I think some changes will happen, not now, but in the near future when this tree starts to grow.
Maybe a few blocks, maybe half an hectare or 1 hectare of it plant of the trees planted can bring back also wildlife. You can see birds that you have never seen before, where our ancestors were enjoying they were enjoying that environment where the birds, the wildlife were there with them, and they depended on the wildlife. It will come back.
That brings us to the end of this week's program. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please send us an email via the address on your screen or leave us a message on our Olsem Wanem Facebook page. Until then, from the Olsem Wanem team, it's goodbye for now and see you same time next week right here on MTV.